To all of those actually named Chad, Stacy, or Karen, how does it make you feel knowing that your names are used as insults? My mom's name is Karen and she is the sweetest lady on earth, and I cannot recall a single time she has ever asked for a manager. It makes me a little salty. Same. My mom Karen might be the most non-confrontational person in human history, and the only time she took the kids was to take us to the park swimming pool shopping. I'm a Karen. I'm also Asian, so I don't immediately fit the stereotype for the jokes to come. Still get a lot of "gosh Karen, you're so stupid" and jokes, hopefully, about me being a B. I think I am nice. Fellow Asian Karen here, hello. I nearly named my little girl Alana, and we even wanted to nickname her Lana, until she was born and the nurse's name was actually Lana, and she says, "I know I shouldn't do this, but you should know my entire life people have been saying my name backwards as a joke. My junior high and high school years were not fun. So yeah, we very quickly changed our minds so our little girl wasn't being called Anal her entire life. Shoulder named her Anal so she'd be called Lana her whole life. Big brain moment." Perhaps worse, when my daughter was in middle school, she had a lovely classmate named Isis. No idea what became of her, but she really was a wonderful kid. Chad here. Never played lacrosse. I'd never be accused of going to the gym on face value alone. My hygiene is quite good. Shower every day. I'm also a stand-up comedian. And the worst part is other comics using your name as a punchline when you're following them. But I get by. I sincerely hope you make that into a joke as you start your set. I'm Karen as well. I don't relate to the Karen memes at all, as I am of Asian descent and super shy and introverted. I find the memes hilarious though. The only thing that sucks is I feel like I'm not allowed to complain about anything. However, I guess I am so Karen that a server at a restaurant forgot an appetizer we ordered. We told him it was fine, and he reported himself to his manager. Everything was fine. I told him not to worry about it and it was okay. Manager comes to our table to apologize and I anxiously had to tell her we were good and nothing was wrong. We got free dessert though. Dad is named Chad, mom is named Karen, and little sister is named Stacy. My family is painfully aware of their names being used on the internet to the point where we try to see who can find the best insult bonus points if you use it in an appropriate setting. I'm Karen. I think the memes are hilarious and sometimes very accurate. I never asked to speak to the manager because I am a manager, and I believe strongly in retail karma. Side note, I used to date a guy named Chad, who was actually cheating on his GF bunny with me. He was a real Chad. It's honestly probably better than being named Alexa. Girl in my class named Alexa. Long story short, she gets asked to play Despacito quite often. I can honestly say my mum most certainly doesn't got it going on. I'm neither popular, hot or a cheerleader. I'm probably closer to being a Karen. Source, named Stacy. I'd bang the ever-loving crap out of your mom. Have some respect. My friend is a Chad, but it doesn't bother him. He was a total anime nerd back in HS and has 2 kids with his adorable wife, and they are walking Mormon stereotypes. He has become the very thing he swore to destroy. It was weird at first to see my name everywhere, but now, well, I'm a white, middle-aged, upper middle class suburban mom named Karen, so stereotypes exist for a reason, I guess. I'm a white old, 68 Karen, always liked my name because it wasn't terribly common. Now, it's funny, my grandson teases me about it. Not a Chad, Stacy, or Karen, but I am a Kenny, so 90% of the time when people hear my name they have to make the joke, "Oh my god, they killed Kenny." It's died down a lot since the show's focus has shifted from killing Kenny all the time. I haven't heard it too often in public, but when I'm playing a video game of some sort, everyone thinks they're hilarious when they say it to me. My boyfriend is Timmy, he gets a lot of Tamai. I got called a Chad the other day by a coworker and it honestly made my day. Thanks for noticing the gains, bro. I guess I was just thirsty for anything resembling a compliment. I once got called a Chad by a pale guy with long hair who wore a fedora. It's very weird and disturbing while also being an unintended compliment. My lady friend is a middle-aged white woman named Karen. It amuses her greatly. She frequently threatens to ask to speak to Life's manager. Tell life to take those lemons back. Hi, my name's Kyle. I used to binge monster cans, and while I never punched drywall, I did get angry enough to punch a concrete wall very hard. This is my story. Sounds legit. My dad's name is Chad and he couldn't care less. Never thought my most upvoted comment would be about a Chad. That's my dad. He sounds like a Chad. I'm a Karen in my 20s and I'm not white. It doesn't cut me deep or anything, but it can be irritating how often I see it around Reddit, up to a dozen times a day or more. Am I a Karen? Don't be a Karen. I'm a Chad. Full name is Chadwick, but mostly everyone calls me Chad. I'm a stereotypical white surfer dude from FL. Currently a UX designer living in Colorado. I fully embrace the insults and I find them mostly pretty funny. I actually tell my friends to stop being a Chad regularly and it always gets a laugh. Adam Levine has a new special out and he bashes the name throughout the entire show, but it was effing hilarious. Also, my mom's name is Karen, 100% true, and she loves speaking to managers. Chadwick. That is a freaking amazing name. Holy crap. I guess you probably couldn't go by it unless you're at least a multimillionaire though. My wife is named Karen. She doesn't know anything about how her name is used online. However, I see people complain about Karen all the time and I immediately think of her, no matter the context. Part of me can't help but think Karen is a beautiful person and you meanies should stop saying such mean things about her every time I see the name mentioned. Also, Karen one time legitimately wanted to speak to the manager about the service at a restaurant and was not at all pleased at me when I burst out laughing. Karen here. Growing up in the 80s and 90s, my name was not common. On the rare occasion I crossed paths with another Karen, it was like a weird phenomenon for both of us. Then one day I started hearing my name in TV shows, then in movies, then in commercials, then in memes. It's everywhere. It is really bizarre to me because I don't know why or how it got started or why it took off. I am kind of amused by it, but also hope people don't really believe Karens are horrible people or soccer moms. We are so much more than that. It makes me feel like a total C. It's so empowering. I've learned a lot of new hairstyling tricks to keep my Karen look going. I freaking love myself. Where is your freaking manager? My son, who is in engineering grad school, says he has to introduce himself like, "Hi, I'm Chad, and I'm the exact opposite of what you're thinking." Former co-worker's last name is Harder, which would really be a super cool P name. But for the fact that his first name is Isaac and he is from a group related to Pennsylvania Dutch who pronounce his first name as Isaac. Oh my god, I feel so bad for him, but I cracked up. None of those people, but I have a co-worker named Karen. She's a really nice person, always looking out for others. She always brings snacks for the staff. Recently she beat cancer. I went to school with two guys named Chad. One was 5 feet tall and gay, but very facial attractive, so I guess there's that. And the other one was a fat, stoner, class clown type. They were both cool people, but nowhere near the Chad Thundercock stereotype. I'm a Chad Irol. Honestly, I really hate my name and it makes me a little sad. I feel like younger people judge me based off my name or associate me with the stereotype Chad of the obnoxious frat boy. A few years ago I started going to the gym a lot, so I guess that part is true. I think naming kids Chad must have been a fad in my area during my time. I grew up with 3 other Chads my age. Not me, but my godmother is named Karen. At first it made me uncomfortable to hear her name used in such a negative light, since she's such a wonderful person. But I got used to it, just from hearing it so many times, and because I know that they don't mean her specifically. My name is Clarice. Every person over 30 I have met always thinks they're original and funny with the "hello, Clarice" line from Silence of the Lambs. Spoiler alert, it's not funny anymore. I'm a Mexican Karen in my 20s. Not only can I not relate to the white middle-aged Karen memes, but one time I was at Chick-fil-A and I had a red cone and was waiting FP on my food. Turns out the older lady behind me also had a red cone, and they ended up giving my food to her because they thought the only Karen with a red cone had to be some old white woman and not some mid-20s Mexican. As a Chad, we've been used in the past during elections hanging Chad or pregnant Chad, so I'm used to it. Also, as a man in my 30s, no one uses the Chad reference besides my little cousin, so I could care less. Also, as a man in my 30s, you stop caring what other people say or think. So I feel good. Besides, when my young children call me Chad and laugh instead of Dad, that hurts. Fellow Chad, do you also remember constantly hearing "was it the Chad from the stupid Charlie's Angels movie with Tom Green? Dang, was that annoying." Gotta say, my recent ex was named Karen. I wish I could say she didn't fit the criteria of the assumptions her name brings. We broke up because she was a classic Karen. Went to get dinner at a food truck despite me saying it's not that fast. Partway through waiting for the food, she got up and went to complain to the truck worker. Even when the employee said he wasn't the owner and he was sorry but he couldn't go much faster, she insisted she wanted a refund for her food. I didn't even hesitate to go apologize to the employee but told him to give my part of the order to the next person and then told her I was done as I walked away with my dog. Needless to say, I didn't get to walk alone long before getting an earful. Glad I left though. My roommate's name is Karen. Anytime I yell for her, I end up having that inflection that always sounds like I'm using her name as an insult when usually it's me saying something really nice like, "I made lunch for the week for you to take with you, Karen." "Hey Karen, I made cookies, would you like some?" "Karen, I'm going to the store, do you need anything?" We crack up laughing every time. She thinks it's funny. The guy that sold me weed in high school was named Chad. Worse than any of you could ever imagine. My friends and I went over his house one day for the usual occasion. At one point this man's is sitting there telling us about this absolute banger of a song. I'm like, okay, let's hear this, thinking it's gonna be some new song we haven't heard of. The music starts playing and he gets up and starts dancing like he's practiced this in the mirror 1,000 times. God's plan. God's plan, mind you. This wasn't when the song came out. This was after it was the only song on the radio for about 6 months, and he talked about it like there was no chance we've ever heard it. He proceeded to step up 3, dance the whole song, then asked if we liked it. Another time he was talking about his GF might being pregnant. This 17-year-old kid who lived in an apartment that got me high just walking in proceeded to tell us that he wanted a kid and was definitely ready and excited. That baffled me, but that wasn't it. We asked what he would name the kid if he had one. If it's a girl, I'm thinking something crazy exotic that sounds with an O. If it's a boy, I want to name him Dax the Great. How cool of a middle name would the Great be? Straight face. Dead serious about the whole thing. We congratulated him and everything. I have since stopped smoking as much due to the pure cringe and mental strain he caused me. I've always done pretty well in school and never really had much luck with girls. I was bit of a band nerd. I was even one of the founding members of my high school chess club. I have been pretty lucky with my career. Software engineer for plus 12 years. But I've always been the one to get dumped by whoever my so is at the time. Each time I've taken it to be more introspective and trying to figure out what I could have done to make it work out. It's taken some work for me to realize that sometimes things just weren't meant to be. My therapist says I'm super empathic and considerate of other people's feelings before I make a decision to do something. Maybe that's the reason why I've never broken up with my exes. These days I tend to stop myself from letting my happiness depend on other people, and I find my own happiness in the smaller pleasures. Maybe a hike in the woods or a long drive with some good music. Hobbies also help, especially social hobbies that allow you to meet new people. It's kinda funny about the Chad stereotype though. I'm nothing like that, eye roll. I am glad Karen is being used. I like most Karens. But this one Karen made my high school life a living heck most of the time I was there. But one time was particularly crappy. So my dad had a stroke. And I, the teenager who hated high school like everyone else but also didn't fit in, wanted to be kicked out and sent to boarding school or an old high school. So I purposefully got drunk before school, the morning after his stroke. Except only the students noticed because my high school sucked. So I never lived that down. And then, one glorious day, like a year later, during lunch around tons of other students, this monster Karen was like, "Hey serpent skates. Remember that time you came drunk to school?" Everyone laughs and I was like, "Frick off, Karen." My dad had a stroke the night before. Silence rippled through the group faster than you can say what the heck. So yeah, screw Karen. If you are new to the channel, you can subscribe. I publish new videos every day. Until then, check another video. Bye for now.